Hello. For all our wine lovers
and book lovers.
This is Wine Sisters Book Club.
Welcome.
Hello. So Aly, I have to tell you something.
Do I have lipstick on my teeth?
You should. You know, it's a good friend move to tell someone that they have something in their teeth.
Don't drink in lipstick. And your iPad is flying across the room. So we're off to a strong start. That's all I know.
Yeah, you can say that again.
The number of things I could not find when we were trying to get this going. My phone, iPad.
Yeah.
The stand. What are we putting things on? I don't know. It's chaos.
We are in a new location today.
Yeah.
The beauty of not having like a podcast studio is that we're just trying to figure out where to record every time we do this.
And it is not a joy. It is a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, I think this is kind of a nice studio. I'm thinking we're going to make this a studio. We are sitting in Nikki's bedroom, but Nikki's bedroom has this like little,
like a nook.
Yeah, a nook, like an offshoot suite where is actually her office.
Yeah.
And we've like moved her desk around. We took chairs out of my house and put them in her house. Like this has been chaos.
And all just to get around kids' sleeping schedules.
Oh,
the things we do for those little monsters.
The little monsters. Well, what's happening in your life, Nix?
You know, it hasn't been like overwhelmingly crazy since the last time we talked about on this podcast, but I will say that it just felt like February and the end of January were like condensed into 3 days, and somehow I have had to try and fit everything into 3 days. But like every day is like chaos, busy. Like it's really challenging. Next week is like hell. I don't know why. Holiday weeks, any day that there is like no work, it makes the rest of the week like a million meetings a day.
Everyone tries to fit it all into
the 4 days.
Yeah.
Rather than just being like, is this necessary or can we just wait one more week? And so like that's going to be a nightmare. But the week after that looks like really nice. So I'm just like projecting myself into the last week of February, which will be Jones's birthday party too. So excited for that.
I know I'm going to have a 3-year-old.
Crazy
so
town.
crazy. He looks like he's 5.
He does, because he's so big.
He's a big boy.
Like we were just this morning, Aly and I showed up at my parents' house at the same time.
So funny. Jones sees Nikki's car and goes, Tia! He's like screaming like a wild animal in the car. He loves being there at the same time as you guys. Like,
yeah.
He gets so excited.
Well, so Jones and Sienna, who is my daughter, who is around Jones' age, were swinging on this like teeter-totter swing that my parents have in their backyard together. And Sienna and Jones are 3 months apart. But when you look at them next to each other, it's like they're 2 years apart. Like she is so small compared to him.
She's just a little girl. She can't help herself. She's so cute.
She's just little and petite.
Just tiny. Yeah. No, yeah. Jones is a monster. I feel like lately, like and I knew it was hard. I know January and February are miserable months. They are miserable months that I cannot wait to be done with.
Yeah.
And I remember this from last January, February, and I was just buckling up, waiting for it to hit me. I think you guys have had an easier January, February than us.
Oh, yeah.
We have had the dooziest of the last 2 months. The illnesses have been one after the next, and if it's like not one of the kids and they can't go to school, it's Nate was in Paris for a week for work, came home with influenza A, so you know, like basically missed 2 weeks of life. Then, you know, he gets better, our kids get really sick, then I get really sick from going to a business meeting, and I'm home. Anyways, I had this moment where I was I overdid it. And I had been in the doctor's office, my children's doctor's office, for like 4 days in a row. I'm not kidding. And it was just like one of them sick. Oh, the next day, I forgot she has a 9-month checkup. You know, like I just had like standard checkups, plus they're actually sick, so they're going to the doctor. And then I tried to sneak Jones in to get a flu shot, because I can't even get started on this. Like Nathan took Jones to the doctor for me, which was so nice of him. Thank you.
Love you, Nate.
But when he's there, and this is like in October or November, tells them not to give Jones a flu shot. What kind of Russian roulette game are we playing here? Like, what in the world? So anyways, Jones never had a flu shot. Then when Nathan comes home from Paris with influenza A, I'm like, oh, hell no. We are getting flu shot. Everyone's getting a flu shot. So I'm like, take Jones to the doctor, get his flu shot. Of course, it's a very unpleasant experience. He is screaming. I finally take him to school. It's like 10 o'clock. So it's a random time. And I had like an 8 a.m. meeting, took him to get his flu shot. And then I had a senior leadership team meeting to get to for the rest of the entire day. And I like dropped him off and I turned around. I'm like walking away from the classroom. I have my eyes closed. I'm like I'm feeling the sun on my skin. Yeah, I'm acting it out. I'm closing my eyes. I was just like feeling the air. And I was like, honestly, in my head was like, you can do this. You will survive. These months will not take you down. You are stronger than January and February. I'm like literally saying these things to myself. I'm walking through my kids' school courtyard with my eyes closed. I have no idea what's happening around me. And like out of nowhere, I hear, "It's going to be okay, Mama. You got this." And I opened my eyes and this mom was like standing in the courtyard, like holding her daughter's hand, just staring at me, giving me like the softest, sweetest smile. And I like just opened my eyes and I was like, thank you.
That's exactly what I needed to hear right now.
Thank you, you angel. Were you sent to me? Where'd you come from? It's 10 o'clock. No one's here.
Honestly, the kids and the weather and the illnesses, they're testing us.
It has been a test, and it's not done yet. I can tell. We are not in March.
No.
Things start to change in March. God bless.
I know. It can't come soon enough.
Can't come soon enough. That is what I'm looking forward to. But anyways, I thought you would get a laugh out of that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty great.
I mean, moms helping moms, but she could tell I was hanging on by a thread that I was, and it was ready to break, that thread.
Oh yeah.
I was centering.
I mean, Sienna has been like super challenging. Luca has been like so cute, my youngest lately, which when he's sick, he is like a total monster. And when he's not sick, he's like so happy, so energetic, so loving. And so he's been super cute. And then Sienna has been such highs and lows, which is not very normal for her. She's usually just kind of like cute and cuddly.
Yeah.
But she's been like super highs and lows, and it's definitely testing me. But like at the same time, I'm like, are you ill? Like, are you sick?
As soon as they start acting grumpy, you're like, they're getting sick.
Yeah. Is it a growth spurt or is it sickness?
Yeah. No, it's sickness. Right now it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Someone's coming for you.
I know. But the weirdest thing, like she has not had like a runny nose, like nothing. So I'm like, what's going on, lady? Yeah. And you know, when you just like feel like you're not being your best self as a parent sometimes, like
every day.
Yeah.
For me, every day.
There's sometimes worse
I'm
than
hanging
others.
on by a thread. Did you hear that earlier? Yeah, so I'm not my best every day.
Well, lately, this last week especially, I was like, I feel like I'm not at my best because I don't know how to handle the highs and lows with Sienna right now. And like, I want to be compassionate because like maybe she's just growing or maybe she's sick. But like at the same time, like I don't know how to stop the tantrums. And so like I've been like at my wit's end a little bit all the time. And then my husband was just like on Valentine's Day, he's like holding my hand. He's like, it's okay. We've got this. It's just, it'll go by. Like, it's fine. And like, yeah. It's fine. Everything's fine.
We probably sound really dramatic, but I think for any moms, dads, whoever's listening, you know, like with little kids whose immune systems are not existent yet, like it's a really challenging time.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to be a working parent, and all parents are working parents, but when your schedule is really full at work,
right,
and my husband's schedule is very full at work, he also has a big job,
right,
the pressure is so unbearable sometimes because you have to sit there and think, okay, who is going to sacrifice today? And my husband does a great job and he's such a great partner. But a lot of the times, like my daughter, she wants her mom. Like
Yeah.
she just really wants mom. And I think sometimes that happens,
Especially
with all
when they're
kids.
sick.
Really when they're sick. And so that is what makes it hard. My boss is so great. He's always like, no one else can do that job but you. You have to go and be with your kids when they're sick. But it starts to wear on you because you start to fall behind. You start to feel like you don't look, maybe as put together or professional or senior as you want to look all the time. And it's this dichotomy of course, being with your kids when they're sick is more important than this. But it's really just like messes with your mind.
Right. Yeah. And all that to say is, anyone that is working or has kids or is a stay-at-home mom or is working with kids or is a stay-at-home wife, like we're all just doing the best we can. And not like you might see Instagram and be like, wow, they really have their stuff together. No one has their stuff together. We're all struggling, especially in the months of January and February.
We are a mess.
We are a mess.
And we are looking forward to spring.
Yeah. And you know what really helps
Wine.
me is wine. Like
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
And yeah, we are drinking.
We are. Absolutely.
Always.
I mean, that's the purpose of this podcast. It's like the time that we get to drink wine and just let loose
and talk
and
about our problems. Yeah, you guys get to hear our complaining moments, our vent session.
Yeah. Well, have you read anything particularly good in the last month?
I have been reading. I feel like I've been really behind because my life has been so hectic and crazy. But I did finish, obviously, The Favorites, the book that we're going to talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
And then I read next month's book already. So I read Onyx Storm, which is the third book in the Empyrean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I never remember the name of the series. I have no idea. Anyways, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm. So I did read Onyx Storm. And which it took me a little bit to get through that. I've just been playing catch up is what it feels like. But now I'm thinking, what should I read next? Because I've already read next month's book and I need something to read. I can't go more than a day or two without starting a book.
Yeah, I've been like a ferocious reader this.
Well, I think that's what's giving me anxiety. You have read like 5 times more books than I've read. And you're like, what are you reading? And I'm like, I'm trying to catch up.
I know. Well, don't feel anxiety. It's not a competition. But I will say But
you're the winner.
But I am the winner.
It's not a competition, but I'm the winner.
It's not a competition because you're not even in the race.
Okay. I know we're not talking about the book yet, but for our blind tasting, I almost wanted to bring Nikki's rosé because in a weird way, the main character, I was like, this is Niki. She's so fierce. She's so focused. And I was like, I want to bring Nikki's rosé, but you would be able to tell what it is if I poured it in a glass.
I mean, not to like give too many spoilers, right? Because we're not at the book yet, but like she has so much confidence, this main character. I feel like I do not have that much confidence, but I mean I'm glad you think I'm like her. She's cutthroat.
She's fierce. I think you're fierce. I don't know, in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel better, so I have read I've read some really nice, like really good books that I really loved, and then I've read some like total trash. That goes back to what I said in the first episode, that just because I'm reading a lot doesn't mean that I think I'm better than anyone or that I'm getting smarter as I do this. I read a series about people that transform into birds.
How did you even get on that?
So I follow a bunch of bloggers on Instagram.
Sorry, what?
They're called Raven Shifters.
This is a new level of fantasy, Niki.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was very suspect when I started the books, and I'm suspect as I've finished the books. I really don't know what's wrong with me.
Please confess. How many books?
Just 2.
Okay.
It was a duology. But honestly, at the end, I'm like, do I need to wash my eyes out with bleach, or should I? How do I go back to regular life?
Are you sitting here worried that I'm going to shift into a bird?
No, absolutely not. No, it was a very interesting series, but it goes back to I'm definitely not smarter than the rest of you. Like someone at work the other day was, I was like, oh, how do you spell this word? Because I've always been a bad speller, and they're like,
Terrible. You're a terrible speller.
I really
It's
am.
one of your worst qualities other than something else that you know, but I won't mention it here.
Oh my God. How could you bring that up? She hates my feet.
It's a weird thing, but I do.
I can't help the God-given gift that are my feet. But someone at work was making fun of me. They're like, don't you read every day? Shouldn't you know how to spell? I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm not getting any smarter. I am just reading books about raven shifters.
Oh my God. And yeah, you it is amazing how many words you put into that brain, yet you still don't know how to spell the most basics of things.
Yeah, like exercise, I could never spell that even if my life depended on it. It's one of those words like exercise, decisions. For some reason, I always get the S and the C in the wrong spot.
Initiatives.
I'm
Initiative
okay
is
with that one.
Oh, that one's always hard for me because there's so many I's.
Ooh, there are a lot
They
of
they
I's.
pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
but
I seem to write that word a lot.
Yeah, I have a lot of I's in my name, so I'm pretty used to it.
Oh,
Something I'm good at.
a lot of I's. Two. You have
there's
four letters in
two
your
I's.
Yeah.
50% are I's.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's good.
Thank God your name is short. You would never know how to spell it.
I know, it'd be really hard. It used to be Nicole, and then we changed it to Nikki because, gosh, Nicole is too long.
Oh my God, I know. Speaking of names, I do like the name Katerina, the name of the main character in our book.
I do too. I think it's a nice name. Have you drank any fun wines?
You know, I honestly haven't been drinking as much lately because we've all been sick.
Yeah.
So I had some super fun wines when I was in Denver. And I'm trying to think of what they were. I would need my phone, which happens to be recording us right now, so I can't even pick it up. But they were from Italy, like Piemonte area, and it was super good. Can't remember what it's called. I'll post it on our Instagram later.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah, it was fun because I don't drink
Yeah.
Piemonte, like Italian wines very often, so it was fun.
Yeah.
What
That's
about you?
actually like one of the wine regions that I'm like dying to go to.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Northern Italy, just gorgeous.
Who doesn't like a Barolo?
Who doesn't like Italy?
Who doesn't like Italy? I mean, I literally named my kids Sienna and Luca della Rochetta so that I could have an arranged marriage with a very wealthy Italian family. So if anyone is listening and they are wealthy and Italian and want to move us out to Italy,
You'll leave your husband? Wow.
No. He's coming.
He's coming?
We're arranged marriage for the kids, not for me.
Oh, I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
She is up and leaving her husband on the podcast.
No, I don't think you arrange a marriage for yourself.
Well,
I think you do that for your
I
children.
wasn't sure how desperate you were.
No. We need to retire there, you know? So that's the goal.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
But we had some fun new wines at Wenti that released. We have the Nikki's Rosé,
Yes.
which just released at our tasting room. Super excited. It's delicious this year. Very fresh, very fruity, lots of really great acid. And then Riva Ranch, our pride and joy, which we are enjoying in our glass right this second.
Sure are.
She has a whole new look.
She is gorgeous. She is beautiful.
She is beauty. She is grace.
She is beauty. She is grace. And she looks very different than she did before. So if you drink Riva, you're going to have to look out for it. But she has got like this cool mauve outfit with gold accessories. She is really
A
strutting.
textured top.
Textured top. Yeah. Really pretty details.
Yeah.
She looks good.
She really does. Love the new look.
Yeah. We did post it on our Instagram. So this is a subtle plug. If you're not following us on Instagram, you should.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the fun happens. Although not a lot of fun has happened yet, but a lot of fun will happen there.
Yeah, Nikki puts a lot of pressure on me. Nikki's the talent in
Yeah.
this, and I am the operations, and so she's constantly waiting for me to be better. I think, really.
Well, no, I'm just so scared because I am like not as curated as Aly. Like, excuse me. Um, Ally's in marketing and has grown up in marketing through all of her career. So I've grown up in vineyards. Like I farm for a living. And so when I post things on Instagram, it's not nearly as cute as what Ally posts. So I'm just terrified.
Well, I'm terrified too after some of the examples you sent me.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
I said, back away from the phone. Put your fingers down. Do not post that.
Oh my God. Whatever. Okay. Well, with that, should we jump into our blind pour?
Oh, yeah.
You got to finish your wine.
Well, so do you.
Well, bottoms up, sister.
Okay, so maybe we can't do it yet.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to chug here. Why don't you tell us about the book, and then we'll open the pours.
Okay. Hold on. I have to open my handy dandy iPad.
And just a reminder, while Nikki's doing that, we will give you a little recap about the book that does not have spoilers. So if you haven't read the book, you can listen to the recap, and then after the recap, we will get into discussion of the book. So that's when the spoilers will happen, and we will be sure to let you know.
Yeah.
All
right.
Nikki trying to check out what I'm pouring.
I see a little bit of what you're pouring.
I'm not.
Please don't spill. Oh man.
I'm not doing this
scared.
in a really great way. So.
Okay. I'm gonna.
There
Just,
you have yours.
yeah. Okay.
Talk about the book. Don't worry about me. I still have wine in my glass.
Okay. So, The Favorites is an epic love story set in the cutthroat world of competitive ice dancing. Following Katarina Shaw and Heath Rocha, a passionate duo who rise from tough childhoods to become Olympic ice dancing sensations. Their fiery chemistry, rebellious style, and roller coaster relationship captivate the world until a shocking incident at the Olympics abruptly ends their skating careers. A decade later, a documentary threatens to redefine their legacy, pushing Kat to break her silence and reveal the truth behind their all-consuming bond and dramatic fallout. The book is written in both interview format from the documentary and from a single point of view of Katarina Shaw. Kat is a determined young skater who grows up without her mother and with limited family support. Her father sacrifices a lot to fund her burgeoning skating career, much to her brother's dismay. When Kat meets Heath, a foster child with his own troubled past, their connection is immediate both on and off the ice.
Mm-hmm. To say the least.
To say the least. And so that is the background that I'll give you. If I go any further, it'll be spoiler ridden.
And so what did you rate?
Let's do that at the end.
Okay. We'll hold that on but how will they know if they want to read it?
That's a good question. Okay, let's do it now.
Okay.
So I gave it a 3.5 stars. And I will say that oftentimes when I'm rating a book, I have I add points for like the desire to never put it down, so even if the book is like a weird strange book,
Raven Shifter book,
but I can't put it down because I have to know what's going on next, I'll give
There's
it higher
good there.
I didn't have that. It's not that I didn't like this book or that I wasn't interested, but I had no problems putting it down and walking away and not reading it before going to bed. It wasn't like I need to read this next. So I probably would have given it 4 stars if I maybe it's the mood or the timing of when I read it. It just wasn't the right fit for what I was feeling then. But I think it was a good book.
I was going between 3 or 3.5, but I think I'm going to land at the 3. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One,
spoiler free.
Yeah, spoiler free. I don't know that I specifically care for the interview, the interview style format to jumping back to the storyline. The interviews, it almost was too hokey. It was too hokey for me, too much. It was almost like watching trash TV too much for me, if you will.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm not the one watching Raven Shifters, so that's you. Oh, Nikki's trying to kill me in the middle of the day with a red wine, you guys. She's giving me a red wine. So,
you're fine.
Don't be a baby.
Don't be a baby.
So that was one reason. The other reason was I have this thing where I don't like Ben Stiller movies because Ben Stiller always plays a certain part or things always go wrong. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
I don't like Ben Stiller movies either.
I don't like Ben Stiller.
I don't
like his movies other than of course classic Zoolander, if that's just funny in its own weird way. But I can't with the others. And in a weird way, this book sort of reminded me of that because at every critical moment, it felt like something was going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
So I saw a meme the other day, or actually it was today. Yeah. Days blend and move around like crazy in my head. So I saw this meme that was talking about how someone was giving crap to people who like romance books because they said romance books are so predictable. And this girl replied and said, yeah, they are predictable. And I go to Starbucks and I order the same drink every time because it makes me happy. And so I like to feel a certain way. Like, you know,
Let me live.
Let me live. Yes. So you've seen
I
that
did
one?
see
Yeah.
it.
He was like, let me live. And I was thinking about how, yeah, in a romance book, I'm okay with some ups and downs, but like I really like happy endings. And I guess this had somewhat of a happy ending, but I just don't like that they got screwed over so many times at critical moments. And I
Yeah.
guess that is a little bit of a
We've moved into spoiler territory.
yeah, but I didn't give away any of the goose.
No.
So yeah,
Okay, well, spoilers will start now.
they're starting now. We can't stop.
Yeah. If you would like to read the book and come back to this at a later date, feel free to do that now. Yeah, so it's funny that you brought up the writing style because that was my first question for you was like, what did you think of that writing style? It's really similar to like Daisy Jones and the Six, which is also a really popular book that had the interview format, but they did it different. And I hear that you didn't like it.
Well, I think first of all, they didn't really introduce the interview format. They didn't really kind of take time. I just love this. You guys, Niki is smelling her blind tasting and she is confused. She gave me a look of confusion. So 10 points for Aly. Anyways, so I think that they didn't really, and did they? Maybe I missed it. I don't remember them saying this is a documentary about Katerina Shaw and Heath Roca. Like, I don't remember. And then they sort of bounced around from speaker to speaker, and it was sort of like drama, gossip. I don't know. And it filled in, I think like they used it to fill in some of the critical facts on where are they? What skating championship is this? Blah, blah, blah. But there was something about it that I just found a little too hokey and didn't love.
Yeah, I think that I didn't love it specifically because I think they didn't give the interview characters enough time. Like it would be better if they like took you from Katerina, because it only was Katerina's point of view and she wasn't one of the interviewers. So like if they had like more of the interviewers like in this like story, it was almost like they were like side characters that didn't really matter.
Right.
There was a lot of character development for Heath and Katerina, and there was some character development for Garrett Lynn and Bella Lynn, who were two of the like competitive ice dancers that were like the biggest competitors for Heath and Katerina.
Cat. Let's just call her Cat.
Cat.
It's such a mouthful.
Yeah. So like they had like some character development for the side characters, but not a lot. And I think that it made the style of writing not great.
Yeah, it took the quality of the writing style down, in my opinion. And that's where I was having a hard time. And I agree. Maybe if they gave, because it was weird, it was like the people that they first started using was maybe their first coach, but the first coach never really played a role in the story because she didn't go to their first tournament. They never really showed any moments of them training together with this first coach. The only moments they talked about them training together originally, like when Kat found Heath and basically like convinced him to be her partner, was like them two alone on the ice on like Lake Michigan, was it? Or yeah. So it was for me that it added more confusion almost because I'm like, who are these characters and why do I care about what they're saying and what's happening here? So I found it almost distracting.
Right.
It was distracting.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, the people in the interview were the original coach. They had Garrett Lynn, who was at first Kat and Heath's competition, and then Kat's partner, and then competition again, and then friend in the end. And they had one of the old Russian professional ice skating champions, as well as a coach for the Russian team. And then they also had Ellis Dean, who was a friend of Kat, kind of not. Also, like a gossip writer,
Was
and
a skater
was
to
a
start.
skater, was in the
Yeah.
Olympics,
That's how they got to know each other.
right?
And then he became
A
he
gossip columnist.
Yeah, he basically opened his own website that was about ice skating gossip.
And the other person that was interviewed was one of the judges. Like, she was a skating competition judge, and then was like on the committee for ice dancing, or not collegiately, Olympic committee.
Yeah. Which also, that one was weird to me because they never really like gave her too much time
Right.
either. So I'm like, what do you mean to me?
Right.
You know, it took me a
Exactly.
while to figure out who she was and like why I should care about that character.
Right.
Yeah. That
Right.
was confusing.
And like it was confusing, but like it honestly didn't even take up that much space in my head because it was such short. Like, you would get like one sentence remarks every couple chapters from these people. So it was really quick. Like, it was like a blip in time that you're like, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I didn't like it, because it was fast.
Yeah.
Like, there was like one line. When you were talking earlier, I was thinking like, oh, what maybe would have been more interesting would have been interviews with this Olympic judge, but it's like more of a full interview from her point of view, just
Yeah.
her, you know, instead of these like one-liners that just felt more like gossip. It felt like the gossip column live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways.
So who's your favorite character?
You know, I think I mean, I liked Kat, like the main character, because I thought she was fierce. She knew what she wanted. I mean, there was definitely times where I got frustrated with her, you know, where I'm like, oh my God, you know, be an adult, have a conversation. But then I had to remind myself, you're not an adult. You are like a 16-year-old child, basically, for a lot of the book.
Right. With no parents.
With no parents. But I did think I liked how she was so inspired by her own dreams, wouldn't let anybody hold her down, and was pretty much willing to do anything to get her dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was great. And then like I had a soft spot for Heath because I felt for him. He, you know, grew up without family. I don't know. I was like, I knew Nikki had finished the book, and I kept texting her about Heath because I was perplexed when Kat left Heath to go to Garrett, and I felt really sad for Heath because I felt like Kat was sort of his whole life. It was almost like she adopted him,
Yeah.
you know, and then he had nothing again. And I can only imagine if you are an orphan, you bounce around from foster home to foster home, you probably have a strong fear of abandonment.
Yeah.
And so that made me feel for him a lot. But then I also think there were a lot of things he did wrong,
Yeah.
where like his outcome could have been totally different if he had just like, do you want to be on the train or do you want to be off the train? If you're on the train, embrace it, lean in, you know, instead of fighting her on everything.
Right. No, yeah. And like when you told me that, yeah, I was like, yeah, like of course you feel bad for Heath because like he is just like a kid that wants love.
Right. He wants
But
love.
I like the reason that I was always just kind of annoyed with him because I was like, Kat was straight up about her goals, her dreams, her ambition. She told him how it was. She wanted to go to the Olympics. Like, that was her dream. And he was either going to do it or he wasn't. Like,
True.
He wanted her to pick him, but she was very clear that she would never pick anyone over the Olympics. And so I was just like, I don't think that it makes sense to like I don't think his rationale made sense. But she wasn't my favorite character. My favorite character was 100% Ellis Dean. I mean, I thought he was great.
The gossip rack.
Yeah.
Oh my God. By the way, I was just smiling when Nikki said this, like fiercely protecting Katerina, and how Katerina was crystal clear. And the way that you just defended her is why she reminds me of you. And I just like couldn't stop like smiling super big. Nikki was probably like, why is Aly
She's just smiling at me. It's creepy.
I know, but you do. You just stick to your guns. You confirm how clear you were. I don't know. Anyways, I just think there's some of those qualities remind me of you too.
Well, I mean, like there are times where I'm wishy-washy, and for sure, if I'm being wishy-washy, then the Heath Roaches of the world have at it. But when I set my mind on something, like I genuinely want to
get it.
Yeah, I want to do what I set my mind to.
Yeah.
I've always been that way, so I guess I have some of her qualities.
You do. Okay, explain Ellis-Dean.
So I just thought he was funny. Like I thought he was like so real. I loved how like he just called it how it was on like he had like his one-liners every couple chapters in the what's it called, the interview section, and he was always like, oh no, like that's what happened, like I know this is how it went down, like I know Bella tried to knock her out, like I know, and he was just like calling it how it was, telling the truth. And then he like saved them in the Russian Olympics, gave them his hotel room, like
that was nice.
Like I think that he overall was like, he was just trying to make a name for himself too, and being a gay man back in the early 2000s wasn't easy. And so, and like he was a gossip blogger in the early 2000s, like right when the internet came out. So he did not have an easy go about it either. He grew up in a poor family. From the very minimal side character development that they gave us, he also came from a poor family, and was basically bankrolled by any of his like wealthy partners. And that's the thing about, like the thing about ice dancing is like, it's a rich sport. There is not a lot of poor competitors because you have to spend so much money on training, on the competitions, on travel, on everything. The outfits.
Yeah.
And so they were just out of place from the beginning, and he figured out how to be in place, like knowing that he is not one of them. Like I just thought he was great. I wish they gave more character development around the side characters because I really did like him. And I really liked Garrett Lynn also. He was just like a good guy, also gay in a hard time, and
he was such a nice guy. I liked Garrett because he just was sweet.
Yeah, like he genuinely just wanted everyone to be happy.
Yeah. What I did not understand, the relationship between Bella and Kat. Like I liked their friendship of we're both two competitive crazies and we can love and respect that out of each other. But I don't understand, and like maybe it goes to undertones of jealousy. I don't understand how Bella and Heath were together. That whole love triangle boggled me because Heath lived and breathed Kat.
Right. And I think that's what made me hate Heath a little bit. Like I like the whole book, like I wasn't necessarily a huge Heath fan, even though I did feel bad for him. Like he had bad circumstances, but like the fact that he like hooked up with Bella at the Olympics after him and Kat got into a fight.
That's the one that really bothered me, where they were fully together. They were engaged.
Right.
She took off her ring, and then what? Like an hour later, Bella is in his bed.
Yeah. And like the whole thing was like, and it was unforgivable. And like, so I didn't think that Kat overreacted, like leaving that Olympics and like never talking to them for 3 years or whatever it was. Like I would have done the same. I can't even believe that she gave him another shot, honestly.
I can't either. Yeah.
But I guess he did almost die at the end, so
yeah,
maybe you give people a chance when they're when you see.
Well, it's kind of like how they got back together the second time. She got super injured,
right,
and he came to her rescue. At that time, she was Garrett's partner,
right,
and she got really hurt, and then they got back together again. And maybe it's like this life or death. They realize that they want to be together. You know, It like puts everything in perspective or something.
Right.
I don't know. I was really bothered about
Heath and his like, moral complex. Like
the moral compass in him was just wrong. It was pointed in the wrong direction for me.
Yeah. I was just looking at my questions to see if that one was like one of the things that I wanted to talk about. But so for anyone that doesn't want to read the book and is just listening to us recap it because they love us.
They love us.
Everyone loves us.
Niki's super humble.
So basically what happens is Heath and Kat are partners. They go to their first big competition. Bella hits Kat and knocks her out before the competition. So Kat really struggles in the competition because she's in a lot of pain. After the competition, Bella tells her mom, like, that's the competitor that we need to invite to come train at our facility. Bella's mom, Sheila Lynn, is Kat's idol. She is a previous ice dancing champion at the Olympics, multiple gold medals. Sheila has an ice training rink in Los Angeles, California. So they all come together in Los Angeles for training, and Bella and Garrett, who is her brother, Bella and Garrett are twins, are partners at ice dancing as well, and they invite Heath and Kat to come as like their main competition to like keep them getting better. And everyone is like aware, aligned, going with it. Then Heath has a blowout with Kat because Kat doesn't think that Heath is helping her get better because he doesn't really care. He doesn't care about ice dancing.
He cares just about her.
Yeah, he just is doing it because he likes it. And so he is not really trying to get better because it's not his goal, not his ambition, which is what I was like, why I started to not like Heath in the beginning, because Kat was very clear about really wanting to go to the Olympics, really wanting to be the next Sheila Lynn. And now she has the chance to train under Sheila Lynn, and they're going to like have it all expenses paid for. And Heath is like, we shouldn't do it, which is like, this is her dream.
Yeah. That part where I was like, you are condemning yourself.
Right.
Stop fighting against this.
Yeah.
You know, what else do you have going on? Like lean in.
Right.
Lean in.
And so he runs away, and Bella and Garrett want to break up as partners because they're siblings. And so Garrett partners with Kat, and Bella finds a new partner because you can't really do romantic dancing when you're dancing with your brother. Then Bella's partner kind of sucks though, so she's sort of down in the dumps. But Kat and Garrett do really well. And then all of a sudden Heath comes out of nowhere and is now partners with Bella. And so Kat's really upset with Bella because they had become friends, and they're
like, Heath is taunting it in front of Kat.
Yeah, like taunting her. Like the whole thing is a mess.
Right.
And then Bella hits Kat in a warm-up and knocks Kat out and hurts her
because she and Garrett were doing way better than
Heath and Bella
at this point. Well, and Heath and Bella were doing good, but Bella hadn't been doing good for years with her other partner, or a year, maybe, however long it was.
And she just wanted to win, and so she knocked her out. And they said it was an accident. It could have been an accident. Ella Steen says it wasn't, so you never know.
It wasn't,
but that caused Kat to have a huge accident on the ice later because she wasn't in fighting shape because she had a concussion. And Heath abandons Bella and takes Kat to the hospital. And so that's when Heath and Bella are no longer a couple, and now Kat and Heath are back together. Yeah. They go to the Olympics, and just so happens Bella tells Kat right before their final Olympic dance that Heath was in Russia training with the Russians the whole time he was missing.
Yes, because Heath never told her where he went or how he got so much better. Because I don't know if we even said that, but he like came back better than ever.
Better than ever. So Aly, what did you think? Did you think Bella told her that like on purpose, or because the article came out right before she performed? Do you think Bella was being a good friend? What did you think?
Well, I mean, I think the book, at the end, you realize that actually Sheila Lynn was responsible. Her mom, Bella's mom, was responsible for the article releasing right before the dance. So it makes me think that, yes, Sheila and Bella were in on it together. Sheila wanted Bella to win. Sheila was in it for her kids. Mm-hmm. She didn't actually care if Kat won. She wanted her kids to win. And when Katerina was no longer partnered with one of her kids, now Katerina was the enemy, you know?
Didn't matter.
Yeah, so I think there was something going on there. I think like Bella, the whole book was open about saying that while Kat was her best friend, she was her biggest competitor, and like Bella, I'm calling her Becca, Bella wasn't going to stop at anything, you know, just like Kat. They're super clear about what they want. It is an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There could be something there for sure. I think, I kind of think that Kat overreacted a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
I do too. Like, she should have been chill.
Yeah. Like he went to go work on his skills with another coach who's the best. And yeah, the Russians, it's sketchy. The Russians are not their friends. The article said that he told them all their secrets and weaknesses, blah, blah, blah. Well, you have no idea if that's true. You know, that could just be the gossip part. But, like, I think the core message is that he went to Russia. And I'm sort of thinking, well, who cares? He came back. He's better than ever. And he's going to get you that gold.
Right.
So why don't you fight about it later? It's nothing to ruin. This is what I'm talking about, the Ben Stiller movie. It's like, oh,
Another drama.
Yes, it's like, oh, Kat gets hit. Oh, there's another drama. And then, by the way, when they decide to come back and go back to the Olympics, which was unexpected, but Kat and Heath then again after this whatever bamboozle right before their Olympic performance, which they did not skate their best because of it, take time off and decide to come back again 4 years later for the next Olympics.
Right.
And right before that, she thinks the Russians sabotage them by putting these like really, I mean, there's all these crazy, there's all these crazy things that happen to them in Russia, but like they put these incredible thorns in their skates, and Kat put her foot in them and like totally ruined her foot.
But like it's so weird. Like a thorn made your foot swell. Like a lot of that stuff too. I was like, what is happening?
It's just bizarre.
And like,
but again, like Ben Stiller movie.
It literally Ben Stiller.
Like, why is this happening at every critical moment? That part of the book. That's why I'm a 3.
Yeah. So would you recommend this book to someone?
I think it depends on what kind of book people like. Like if they really love romance, if they, all the folks who loved like the hockey love stories, or, that like if you like sports, if you like a little romance, sure. Don't have expectations this is going to be the best book you ever read, but sure, read it. I will never read it again. I won't like read this one twice. No.
Oh yeah. No, this is definitely not like a reread for me. But I think I would recommend it. Like I think that it's like an exciting book. It's fun. Like I do.
It was entertaining.
Yeah,
it takes a few days. This is not like a complex book.
Right.
It's not a huge commitment. So I think I would recommend reading it if you like that.
Yeah, I love a sports romance, so I would recommend it. But yeah, it's definitely not like the best book I've read. And so, what do you think about the wine?
I know So we have our blind tastings. I definitely have a Pinot Noir of some sort. Niki has a white wine. That's all I'll say for now because I'm not going to give anything away there.
So you think it's a Pinot Noir?
It is a Pinot Noir.
Okay.
And
wow, confidence.
It is. And are we still doing Wenti?
Not necessarily.
Oh, I thought we were. Are you a cheater?
I thought we were just doing only Wenti on the first one.
Okay. Things just got different.
How would
I be able to guess this otherwise?
Well, just guess okay, so what I think we should be doing is varietal, try and guess an area.
Okay.
And then if you are so inclined to guess the producer, or I don't think we go vintage though.
This is definitely a Pinot Noir. It just smells like Pinot, but it smells heavy. Like it's a bold Pinot. It's a little bit more heavily oaked. It tastes really good. But yeah, I definitely get a lot of like oaky spices, a little bit more of like a fuller body on the palate. Again, not trying to make this geeky or nerdy. I'm just trying to figure out what you got me. So it's definitely a Pinot. I think it's like a current vintage. So 2022, 2023. What year are we in right now? Yeah. It's a 22 or a 23 probably.
Well, you don't have to go vintage. This is getting kind of intense.
Okay. Well, I thought you were saying that.
No, I said we don't have to do vintage.
I'm just going to go ahead and pretend like you got something from Wenti. I think it's nth degree Pinot Noir.
Okay. No.
No?
It is
it
a
Reba?
Pinot. It is a Pinot. It is a Walt 2021 Pinot Noir from Santa Barbara.
Oh.
And so the reason I chose this wine is because one, I know Aly loves Walt, and two, for Pinot Noir, whenever I think about Pinot, I think of elegance, and ice dancing to me is like one of the most elegant sports out there, like any sort of ice skating really, but like ice dancing especially. So I was thinking like the elegance, it's sort of warm and cozy too. And so it kind of wraps you all up. And
I almost guessed Walt when you were looking at me, and I realized that you had not picked a Wenti one, but I couldn't tell if it was you were smiling because nth degree is different.
No. So, and yeah, that's why I just thought it was like a good comparative wine for this book.
It is delicious. I will say that.
And so I think mine is a Wenti wine.
Yes. Did I just give away my card?
You did. You absolutely did. I think that this is a very lean white. It does not have a lot of oak. So I think it's probably a unoaked Chardonnay, our Eric Chardonnay.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay.
You got it.
I know,
She
well,
is an expert.
When I smelt it at first, I was like, whoa, what is this? Because it's really clear and
It's light.
it's very light. So it almost looks like a Sauv Blanc, and that was sort of what I was expecting. But then I was unclear because of the aroma. I was like, oh man, that's not a Sauv Blanc. So yeah.
It is a tricky wine to do a blind tasting with. So I picked Eric's because it's unoaked, so it's sort of like fresh and zippy, and I don't know, there was something about like ice skating and like iciness and sportiness, and like she's kind of zippy. That just reminded me of Eric Chardonnay.
I like it.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, we are going to be enjoying the rest of our glass of wine. We are going to be doing Onyx Storm
next month,
and we'll probably do a
filler episode to fill you in on the first 2 books of the series. So you can either decide to join us on the 3rd book and listen to our takeaways on the first 2 books. But if you really love reading and if you think you have the time, we do recommend reading the whole series.
The series is good.
Fourth Wing is one of my favorite fantasy books that I've read. So anyways, you could start at book 1, start now, go. And then listen to our episode on Onyx Storm next month when you're ready. Or you can listen to our filler episode, which I'm hoping Nikki takes a lot of the lead on, looking at the talent here.
Oh, yeah. I honestly already started prepping them.
This is good. So we'll have good notes for you. The talent. Yeah.
Aly knows how to set up everything and how to post these podcasts. And I know how to show up and smile.
It looks really pretty. Well, cheers to that. Love you, Nix.
Love you.